Home sellers here in DFW have been worried as the market gets harder and harder to sell your home for the last 6-7 months. Buyers have more choice, interest rates are up, and it's harder to stand out in the market. This video series is about how you as a home seller here in DFW can get your house ready to sell, on the market, and sold faster and for more money than your competition. I'm Kiel Lindsey, your Property Geek, and I'm with the Smith team here in DFW. I'm a local realtor who specializes in helping people get their house sold fast. I'm a listing specialist. This is what I do. And I would like to give you guys all my tips and tricks right now that are really helping people succeed in today's market as of December 2022. If you missed the first part in this series, please go back and watch it. There will be a link up here somewhere. That way you can go back and catch up. This is part 2 of this series. Today we're going to talk about decluttering and depersonalizing, getting your home staged for success, and last but not least, getting your home show ready and prepped before each and every showing. Okay, so decluttering and depersonalizing. When we talk about this, most people just think about taking your photos off the wall and that kind of thing, or removing a few items from the counter. And while that is true, we can go a little bit deeper than that because we are going to be more successful than our competition is. So yes, take down your pictures and things that can personally identify you. That's the first step of depersonalizing. But let's take that one step further, because our goal here is to appeal to the most amount of buyers on the market. We don't want to alienate anybody. And what this means is that you may want to take down some other things that are very personal to you or that you love, say like a sports team logo or banner of some sort. Again, this sounds silly, but here in Texas, there's a lot of big old football rivalries. And if an Aggie's walking your house and you're plastered with Longhorn stuff, they may pass on your house simply because of that, but it could have been their dream house and they could have been the buyer you were looking for. Anything on your wall that helps people personally identify you, so think diplomas, certificates of completion, anything of that nature, take down, start packing already. Sports team memorabilia or things of that nature that, you know, if it's not one of the big local teams, so like if you're here in DFW, you're a big Cowboys fan, go ahead and leave it out, not a big deal. If you're a Steelers fan or an Eagles fan, get rid of it. Pack it up immediately because you don't want a bunch of Cowboys fans walking your house and thinking, oh, this guy's, you know, and passing just because you got that stuff out. So once you've depersonalized, time to declutter. Now, think about this. You know, this is always a funny thing to me, but we want to tour homes and that are lived in, or we can picture ourselves living in because there's furniture and things there, but we don't want to see any evidence that someone actually lives there. So think when you're looking at your kitchen, you want almost everything off the counters, a few show pieces. So I normally say every 3 or 4 feet, you can have one item on there. So think a coffee pot, maybe a knife block, some sort of decoration or something. Everything else needs to be in the cabinets, up above or below, in the pantry, maybe stowed somewhere. I have some clients that even keep a Tupperware container, and before all the showings, they throw their stuff in there and then they move it out to the garage. Sounds silly, but when people walk in, they want to see a place that they can envision their stuff in. So you want just enough there to entice them, nothing that hides the house from them. You want to make sure they can see the countertops, the walls, all the stuff and all the beautiful parts of the kitchen. And that cascades into the living room, your master bedroom, your rooms. You want to make sure that any tabletops are clean and clear. 1, maybe 2 items like a lamp, something else, some sort of decoration maybe. That's it. You don't want anything else out if it's at all possible. Now, I know for some people that's not possible. You have kids, you have pets, you got a full house. This is going to be very difficult. So I recommend, again, starting to pack early. You know you're going to put your house up for sale. You know you're going to have to move. Why not get ahead of the packing? Anything that is non-essential, start packing it up immediately. Get it into the garage. We don't show garages. We don't take pictures of garages. I mean, people want to see it at some point, but it's not necessarily always part of the original tour. Unless there's something nice in the garage, like some nice workbench or shelving or a custom floor in the garage. We want to show those things off, but most of the time, it's a great staging area to start putting boxes and getting them out of the rest of the house. Step 2, or if you can afford it, A storage facility becomes your best friend at this point. Just start moving all of your clutter in a storage facility. It might cost you $100, $200 for a month or two. It's well worth it in the end, because not only do you clear the house of all the stuff that would have possibly deterred a buyer, but you're already packed and it's in a place you can easily load it back up in a moving truck when it comes time. So declutter, depersonalize. Step 2, and these kind of go hand in hand, stage your home for success. Now, if you're living in the house, there's usually very minimal things we do, but in some situations, we like to call in a stager to give you advice. Maybe we can rearrange the furniture. Maybe they can tell you what needs to come out of the house, and maybe they can bring a few small pieces back in. Let's say, again, you're a huge Eagles fan. Well, here in DFW, that's not going to go over so well, so let's remove your whole wall of memorabilia. Well, now there's nothing on the wall. Well, once that wall is clear of all of the Eagle memorabilia, we need to put something back on there. So a few tasteful pieces can go on that the stager will provide and help you kind of redecorate a little bit. You probably don't need much, maybe a few pops of color here, there. You'd be surprised what it can do, especially for pictures. The pictures we take are very important. They're your first impression online, and that's where everyone starts shopping, is online. So it's very important to make sure that you're making the best first impression. That's where staging really comes in handy. A stager is not very expensive to come in and just give you advice. Now, if you need a whole house stage, of course, that can get a little pricey, but again, it is very well worth it. NAR has shown that statistically, your house is more likely to get a higher offer price in a shorter days on market if you have staged the home. It's not always the case, but more often than not, we see great success from people that tour the home and they love it based on the staging. Not to say your house wasn't beautiful to begin with, especially if you did all the stuff I mentioned in video 1. The link up here, but once it's staged, it kind of helps spark the creativity of a buyer. They can picture their stuff there, or I've seen it sometimes where the buyers just love the house because of the way it's staged and the way it looks, and it appeals to them. It can create a very strong emotional bridge when someone really likes the decorations in the house. Something you strongly consider is having your home staged, or at least having a stager advise you on how to move things around or bring a few pieces in to help with the presentation. It's very important. So we've decluttered, depersonalized, we've gotten your home staged. Now, how do you stay prepped for each showing? One portion of the sales process is having to get out of the house for the showings and make sure it's show ready all the time. So in order to make that a little bit easier on you, I have a few big tips here. And the first one, clean daily. Clean on a schedule. The more often that you can clean, I'm not saying do it once an hour or anything, but once, twice a day will make your job so much easier when you do get a showing. Because what I've seen a lot of people do is they put it off. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I don't like to clean all the time. And then they get a showing, hey, in 2 hours we're gonna be by. Oh man, now they're just frantic. They're throwing all the laundry into a basket or hiding it in a closet. They're wiping down counters and doing dishes real quick. They're cleaning up toys. It's so much easier if you just have it on a schedule and you do it periodically. That way, when you do get that notification, it is so much less hectic. And admittedly, when you're not as hectic and you can kind of pay a little bit more attention to detail, you're going to do a better job. It would be a shame after you've done all these upgrades and repairs and you've gotten the staging right to then have your house be a little dirty because you weren't cleaning on a schedule and again turning buyers off. I know I'm making buyers sound very fickle, but think about when you go into, or the last time you were house shopping, if you haven't been before, this is kind of what happens is buyers will walk into a house and the way the house presents to them is how they think of how you took care of the house. So if it's dirty or they see a lot of deferred maintenance or things are in disrepair, it will make them think that you haven't done a good job with the rest of the house as well. So it's very important to make sure the house is clean and tidy, as well as staged right. I know it's not fun, so I would possibly even suggest before the pictures, pay to have a professional cleaner come in and really do a great job throughout the whole house, and that way your maintenance is much easier and you don't have that whole weekend of scrubbing on your hands and knees and getting all this stuff done. If you have a cleaner come in, they will scrub top to bottom, your ceiling fans to your baseboards, and it's so much easier. Strongly recommend that, and if you need any recommendations, let me know. We have cleaners, handyman, and all sorts of people we can help recommend to you as part of our vendor connections that we can provide to you as one of our clients. Hey, hopefully if you've come along this way, you've liked some of what I said, so please hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. This was part 2 of my 3-part series. So today we talked about decluttering, depersonalizing, staging your home for success, and staying prepped for all your showings. All very important. It's not the most fun part of the sales process, but once you get these things done right, it will lead to a much smoother and hopefully much higher offer price and shorter days on market. If you missed part 1, again, go back and watch that. But if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll get notified when part 3 drops, which will be coming very soon. Thanks, and have a great day.